Every September, the village of Silver Creek, New York throws a celebration that smells like a harvest. Literally. It's called the Festival of Grapes, and it's been held nearly every year since 1968. School bands march, tractors haul floats through town, and at the heart of it all are the Concord grapes. Dark, sweet, and unmistakably American. There's grape stomping, pie eating, and a timed event where contestants try to eat as many grapes as possible in 30 seconds. No hands allowed. But beneath the festival joy is something so much older. It's one of the oldest grape growing regions in the United States, and the festival isn't just tradition, it's tribute. Silver Creek sits inside the Lake Erie Grape Belt, a unique stretch of land that runs about 50 miles or 80 kilometers around the southern shore of Lake Erie, cutting through western New York and spilling into Pennsylvania and Ohio. Most of the vineyards in this belt grow a single kind of grape, the Concord grape, developed in 1849 by Ephraim Wales Bull of Concord, Massachusetts. Bull crossed more than 20,000 seedlings before settling on the one that could withstand the American climate. He couldn't have known that this hardy hybrid, dark blue with a thick skin and intense aroma, would become a staple of American lunchboxes for over a century. The Lake Erie climate makes it possible. Warm summers, consistent rainfall, and the lake itself, which acts like a thermal buffer. Lake Erie is the shallowest of the Great Lakes, which means it cools quickly in fall, allowing the vines to go dormant quite early, and that's critical for hardiness. But in spring, that shallowness works the other way. The lake is slow to warm, which delays bud break and helps reduce the risk of a lake frost. And that's not true everywhere. In California's Napa Valley or Washington's Yakima region, where wine grapes like Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, they dominate. They dominate the growing season, and that growing season starts earlier. Those vines often see bud break in March, but they're also protected by drier climates, higher altitudes, and irrigation systems tuned to precision. Concord growers, they don't irrigate. They farm by the weather, slope, and memory. And here, nothing is guaranteed. It's April now. The lake's still cold, the snow is gone, but the ground is soft, and the vineyards are stirring. April isn't when the grapes appear. It's when the growers prepare. This region has more than 30,000 acres, about 12,140 hectares of Concord vines, most planted on Geneva Series soils, rich in glacial deposits, clay loam textures, and a high water retention. These soils give the roots stability and help regulate moisture, but they also require careful drainage. Pruning ends in March, and by April, growers monitor the sap flow, one of the first signs that dormancy is ending. Sap seeps from pruned canes as temperatures around 50 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius, become the norm. And that bleeding phase, it's quite natural. It signals the internal pressure building up in the vines as water moves upward to the buds. Bud swell begins next. These buds were actually formed the previous summer. Inside each one are the microscopic clusters that, if not damaged, will become this year's grapes. And that's why this phase is so sensitive. A frost right now can kill the buds before they ever open. In 2012, an early heat wave, followed by a cold snap, destroyed more than half the crop in parts of New York. The risk is real, and it happens every year. That's why many vineyards still rely on physical frost monitoring. Some string thermometers at 24-inch or 61 centimeters height, the level of the fruiting zone. Others use infrared sensors or deploy vineyard fans that draw warmer air down into the canopy. And in a few cases, smudge pots or diesel-powered heaters, they line the rows. And then the soil chemistry has to be thought of. You see, April is when nutrient tests are run. Concord grapes pull heavily on potassium and magnesium during the early growing phase. And if either is deficient, it can stunt leaf growth and reduce the number of viable clusters. That's why you'll find growers spreading sulfate minerals or adjusting pH with lime in these early weeks. There's no glamour here. It's literally just mud, wind, and the smell of compost. And some days the tractors can't get traction at all. The buds don't always swell fast enough. And every grower knows no matter how perfect April looks, one May frost can reset everything. The stakes are high. Welch's, founded in 1869 by Dr. Thomas Bramall Welch. They still buy most of its Concord grapes from this belt that I'm talking about. And that juice, pasteurized so it won't ferment, just as Welch intended. More than 300,000 tons, or 272,000 metric tons of Concord grapes are harvested annually across the United States, and a large share comes directly from this area. And it all starts right now. When the snow clears and the sap rises, when the old canes are tied to new wires, and when 1,000 tiny buds swell with silent pressure. This isn't just grape country. It's one of the few places that you can still feel agriculture as a generational act, something learned by doing and passed down row by row. Because in Silver Creek, spring isn't soft. It doesn't always smell like flowers, but it might smell like wet bark, diesel exhaust, and cold metal tools. And that's where the real work begins. These are Interesting Things with JC.